in his essence, yes, but clearly we're all evolving differently, and responsibilities, challenges, and the environment shapes us, and we respond to it differently, but it's still the same person.
Precisely, how do you rate his performance thus far?
Okay, so it's a tough job. He's the first person to accept that it's a tough job, but we see a few policy initiatives, monetary policy initiatives, and I think it was just yesterday the NPR held, and they are holding rates, and there are clear reasons for that. They moved it up for 17%, and I think that understandably at the time, you know, people say, oh, what kind of problem does Nigeria have? They don't know what the prescription is to it. So there were economic issues of the time. There was inflation, there was cost push inflation, and there was demand pull inflation. And we will see that the demand pull inflation has responded. What remains now is the cost push side, and that is a combination of other things. We've seen a fiscal policy, and that policy has changed how taxes are administered. 8 tax laws have become 4. A certain cadre of Nigerians are now totally tax exempt. That hasn't happened before. And what is the impact of that in cost of living? What are the matrices? Who are people being impacted? We've seen changes in VAT. VAT has been removed from diesel, petrol, CNG, for example. Diesel has been VAT has been removed from real estate transactions. You now can take out repairs and all of that in your rental income if you're anywhere. So, but we need to now measure how that is impacting.
Do you think his executive bill on state police is the game changer for insecurity in Nigeria?
Well, to the extent that an executive bill is not law, executive bill only seeks to effectuate law. So if there's a law that says Nifemi should not sit on this chair, President can write an executive bill and say, look, you, go and ensure that that chair remains empty. But to the extent that a constitutional amendment is necessary, we're waiting for the outcome of the constitutional debate. But I think what must be focused on is that there is a response now. As I said at my intervention on June 12, the state police, if and when it actually becomes constitutionally permissible, is not the silver bullet to the problem we face today. It's going to take about 6 months. If you use the current model of police training, they spend 6 months in police academy. So your first intakes are 6 months away. If we're looking for people who respond to armed conflicts, you have to be in police force for 2 years with continuous training to be entrusted with a firearm. Okay. So that's 2 years.
You're saying it's a long-term.
Yes, okay. But a first step has been taken. So and that step we must see it to conclusion. There will be a lot of gray areas. For example, should state police bear arms? If they do, who controls arms? Because that is still under the exclusive legislative list. And will the federal government open that into concurrent, or will it still retain control? And so on and so forth. There's still many gray areas. We're in uncharted waters, but yes. I think that the initiative must be commended as a response to the problem of the day.
You know, every government has blind spots. If the president called you tonight, I don't know what he calls you. What does he call you?
He calls me today.
Today, and he says today, identify one area where my administration must improve as we count down to 2027. What would your advice be?
So I won't speak to the president on TV. I've told myself I will not do that. I have his ears, and when I need to see him, and I've advised on a few things, and I think that we must keep that channel open. It's not my intention to advise him on television.
You have not changed a bit. I mean, we thought that now that you have left politics for a while, you will be a little bit more open. I mean, looking back on the 3 years,
No,
you're not
but
saying
it's so.
there are no blind spots in this administration.
You can't be shouting at somebody whose ear you have.
I hear you, and I agree with you to an extent. But you recently argued that democracy should be about competing ideas rather than competing personalities. And I want to take you back there. Looking towards 2027 now, what exactly should Nigerians be judging this administration on?
So I think that the jury is out how well or how it remains for this administration to respond to all of the expectations of the electorate. But as I said about ideas, the void, perhaps, that fails to enrich the contours, that there's nothing on the other side to compare with. So we're not seeing those competing ideas to say, this is how I would have done it differently. This is what I would have done instead. And that would have put us in a place to then say, look, listen, this idea sounds much more compelling than the other one. So it's just, okay, if it's not working, it's just not working. Yeah. Or if it's working, can it even be better? There's that, I like to see that other side, and I hope that we will see it soon before we are called to make a choice. But there's just not anything exciting on the other side other than, okay, those who want a change of government just want the president to go, but to what? What are you giving us instead? Do you understand? So, and that's why I like that exchange of ideas. This is how I would do it differently.
But the biggest conversation we've heard from the other side is the question of the quality of life of the average Nigerian prior to this administration, and what the cost of living really is. You don't think there's
a cost of living issue in almost every nation in the world. So, and I've said earlier, and the government has enough spokespersons who have articulated what they have done, but that's not my responsibility. And I've said earlier that, look, there's been a fiscal policy that has sought to address that in terms of tax exemption for a cadre of people, VAT exemption for certain services, certain contracts exempt from stamp duty. It's all a potpourri of, but who has measured the impact to say it's not enough? And you know what they say in triage. I was asking a doctor once, he was telling me about what they do in triage. So when they get to an accident scene, and you know, that those who are shouting the loudest are the people they ignore, because they know that they will leave. And they are looking at those who are not moving, who may be alive. So I use that analogy just to say, even those who are benefiting, are they acknowledging any benefit? So that we really separate where the problem is. But again, those are the exchange of ideas about numbers, data, measurements for management.
I'm understood we have to go, but I'm just wondering how politically active you are today. Should Nigerians see you simply as an elder statesman, or you are still running things and influencing conversations within the APC?
So I'm as politically active as I want to be. So I was at our stakeholders meeting when I think about 3-4 months back, and we were discussing about voter turnout. I'm in consultation with those who matter, but again, look, there is a very thin line between interference and intervention.
But statutorily, you are a member of the GAC. Do you attend the meetings?
Yes, I'm a